Have you found though that the success of the show has affected what roles you're offered? I mean, do people want to keep casting you as a special agent or an action film?
No, I mean it's what it's done is it's kind of put me in a position to maybe get roles that I would never have gotten before this. It's very hard for me to look at 24 and find a negative, you know, until I can't get some sleep, which is nothing compared to certainly a lot of things I couldn't get before. 24 has been a real blessing.
And the film, you've made a film that's going to come out this November, 24.
That's the thing we're the most excited about. In the 7 years that we've been making 24, we did a 2-hour prequel which sets up season 7, and a lot of this came about as a result of the writer's strike, and we didn't want to be off the air that long and wait all the way till January before we did something. And there was an idea that we were going to start off season 7 with, which was starting in Africa, and we could never figure out how to get Jack Bauer back from Africa to the States
in 24 hours.
Within the context, you know, half the season he'd have been on a plane.
Right.
So it presented a great opportunity for us to actually tackle that storyline. And Howard Gordon wrote, I think, arguably, the best script we've ever had. And we got half of us went to South Africa to shoot that, and the other half did some stuff in Washington. And it just turned out fantastic. It represented everything I think we've learned in 7 years of making 24. Because there were aspects of the very first season that I personally feel that we've missed. It was much more of a thriller and a kind of a spy genre thing than an action thing. And so we've incorporated a lot of that into this. And it's something we're very excited about, and it comes out in November on Fox.
So it's a way to keep the fans happy until next season?
Well, it's just we've also had an unbelievable, you know, for the first time in the show's history, we've managed to make all of the episodes before we show one. So we've had the chance to actually make them as perfect as we think they can be. And we just wanted to really set it up properly, and we wanted to get people excited about it. And this 2-hour prequel, I think, is going to hopefully do that.
Now, I have a feeling that I would have to torture you for you to tell me anything about next season of 24, but we need to know something. What's going on with Jack?
There's a couple things that I can't tell you just because I know that they've run some promotions. We have a female president. Played by Cherry Jones, who is just you knew that. Okay.
I knew that. She's a great actress, though.
She is amazing. Yeah. She is unbelievable, and it takes a long time for our characters to kind of cross each other's paths. So I was really jealous with everybody who got to work with her, and I was waiting, and then we got to work together. John Voight is on the show. I can't tell you much about that, but he's a man. I mean, what an extraordinary actor.
Where's Jack? Where's Jack's head?
Well, Jack's in trouble. Jack is dealing with a congressional investigation into torture, and he has certainly had his share of experience in this world. And he's basically, you start the show and he's really on trial. And what I love about that is it engages that debate, and I think is really important. It's certainly something that has been talked about a lot with regards to our show.
Yeah,
so it's actually interesting for us to actually be able to deal with that topic within the context of our own show, and so we started that way.
But there are people who have said, I've heard it said, criticism of 24 is that you're sort of glamorizing torture or making it seem like it's a viable option or an effective option.
We never meant that. This is a television show, and we use it as a dramatic device to show you how important a situation is. And I think to try and confuse that with the reality of what happens in the real world is a terrible mistake. But it happens. And so instead of just kind of saying it's a television show, we decided to incorporate that debate within the context of the show. And I really take my hat off to the writers for I think that's a very brave thing for them to do, because like anybody else, you take any kind of criticism personally. You know, so we've made it a part of the show.
Well, I can't wait, and I'll be first in line to see the film. But in the meantime, everyone should see Mirrors, which has a great ending, by the way. We can't talk about it, obviously. A really great twist ending, and obviously
we should do these interviews after the film has opened so we can actually talk about the film. That would be
people
cool.
who won't have seen it. We don't want to spoil it. It would spoil it, and there might be a Mirrors 2, I would bet, watching the ending. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes.